Hey guys, this is ReadFreak7, and today I'm going to be showing you some more advanced suspension glitch stuff in Scrap Mechanic. So I have a previous video that's on more basic suspension glitch setups. That's one of the first or second videos on my channel. You can go check that out. It's basically just showing you the basics of a suspension glitch. You push a block on a suspension into a platform. If you don't understand how that initially works, please watch that before you watch this video. It will make more sense. Okay, so the video I had a comment on my Suspension Glitch Gyro video asking how to build a piece of that gyro. So let me find that real quick. Gyro. Okay. And yeah, this guy is the gyro. So this centerpiece is what's called an infinite stabilizer. Basically, this is on free bearings, you can see, so it can rotate any which way. And you see if I hit it, it does not rotate. If I take this and let's say I put the lift over here, you can see this entire thing does not rotate because it has an infinite stabilizer going on, and these sensors are picking up what's happening to that infinite stabilizer to keep the entire thing oriented the same way as that stabilizer in the center. So this is the basic way you'll see people make infinite stabilizers. If I put it on a lift, you can see with the weld tool, whoops, I do not have the weld tool on me. You'll see this is in two sections. Each one has a suspension and it's all looped into itself to create a infinite stabilizer. So you can see I cannot hit this over, even though it would normally fall over if it was hit in that manner. So how I can make this smaller and do what I showed you on the last on the previous creation I showed you is I'm just going to build a temporary post here, put a block or a bearing there and there. Then what I'm going to do is place a block there and a block here. Block there and a suspension on top of that block. What I can then do is put that on the ground, and I'm going to knock that out of the way. Knock that out of the way, so I can then put a block on that bearing. Then I can put this back on the lift, and you see I have that suspension in the bearing. Oh, one more thing I actually have to do here that is fairly important that I messed up actually. Let me get rid of this block. I actually want that block to extend down to 2 blocks like that, so it will be both will be in the suspension like that. So now you see I have both blocks there. I'm going to weld these two sections together so it'll be looped back into itself. Also later this will allow me to remove this bottom block, just making it a slight bit smaller. So then what we're going to do is we're going to come up to the top here, and it's going to be a little difficult. You're going to place a bearing on top of this block, and this is the main glitch. You can do this with pistons and suspension for a variety of different purposes. Once you get this bearing on here, come on, there we go. Once you get that bearing on there, that bearing is connected to both this block and the suspension at the same time, which normally you cannot connect a bearing to suspension. This glitch basically allows you to do that. Then I'm going to place a block, or I could place a bolt on top of this if I want it to look smaller. I'm just going to use a block because that's what I used in that gyro video. Then I can get rid of all of these temporary blocks, and I can get rid of the block on the bottom, and you'll see I have a piece here that acts as an infinite stabilizer. It'll spin around, but it will not fall over in any direction unless a lot of pressure is put on it over a long period of time. You can see if I build something out like this and place that on the lift, you can see over time it'll start to tilt. It just slows the tilting. So let me get rid of that. Now we're going to move on to the second use of this glitch, which is actually for steering. So this isn't as much suspension glitch. This section of the video will be more using the glitch I showed you earlier with the bearing on the suspension for other purposes. So normally a steering mechanism would look something like this. You got a suspension with a block on the bottom, a bearing, and then for steering, and then a bearing on the block that's on the steering bearing for your wheels, which is just being represented by that bolt for now. So you can actually shrink this by a couple of blocks by using this glitch. So we'll build up again like I showed you, place our two bearings, place a block on each bearing. Sorry, not on both bearings. Block there, suspension there. I can knock this over. There we go. We can put a single block on this. We don't want it to be two blocks this time. We just want one. And then we're going to come up here as before and place a bearing. Oh, there we go. Got a bearing. Then, oh, no, not quite. I can't remove everything yet. I can remove that top bit, but I need to place a block on that bearing. I'm going to use a bolt because it makes it small. It gives it a smaller hitbox, so that portion will not hit the ground as easily. The problem with this glitch, usually you'd use a pipe or something in here. For this purpose, I'm just showing it with a block, but you'd usually use a pipe or whatever in this position, so it has more suspension travel. So you can also do this with the large suspension pieces. I'm just showing it with the sport suspension. Then you can see, let's weld this guy up here. I can attach this to my steering, and you'll see that block in there rotates when I steer, and then I can attach a block on the side of that, attach that to my engine, and you can see, oh, I need to put something on that bearing, but you can see it spins, and I could use this as a suspension setup on a vehicle, and it's much smaller. So our last use is a little more niche. You probably won't need this unless you're building piston engines or whatever, and even then you don't need it, it just makes it a little smaller. So what this basically does is, you see I have this shaft here that's attached with a bearing on either side, and I want a bearing on either side for stability so it won't flop around as much. But I also want to continue that rotational momentum through this post, which I can do by putting a piston on either side and doing that. I have a piston on either side just so it's symmetrical, and I don't have one side that's heavier than the other. The pistons don't actually weigh anything, so I could get rid of one of these pistons and have it still work. I just need the blocks for the weight distribution. But that's the basic idea. But having those, basically this means you have to have this 9x9 area of blocks cleared out, or 9x9x9 area of blocks cleared out so it won't collide with anything. So I can actually fix that using this glitch, using pistons rather than suspension. Let me find my piston real quick. Where's the piston? There's a piston. Just ignore the mod parts. I'm not using any of those, so they do not actually do anything in this application. So we're going to build that post up, put a block, bearing there and there. We're going to do them close to each other because the piston is a block shorter. Then I'm going to place a block on this guy with a piston on top, and we're going to do our same thing. Place a block there. Okay. So now I'm going to put this back on the lift, and we're going to put a bearing here. Oh, you can see it flashing. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. So that's now attached to that block and the piston. Then we can place a block on this end, and we are not going to weld these two blocks together like we did for the stabilizer, because we want this block to freely spin. So let me get rid of these temporary blocks. We're going to keep the block on the bottom because it is necessary for this application. Now let's actually get rid of all of this. And we'll get rid of this. And this, actually, I'm going to have to do this on a lift because of how this works. Give me a second. Go away, stupid blocks. Okay, so we're going to build a post up like this. We'll actually extend it this way as well to leave room for our blocks and whatnot. Place a bearing there with a shaft coming out of it like that. And I'm going to leave one block there so I can weld this on. Then I can weld this piece up here, or I can do it the other way. It doesn't matter which end is going around. I can weld that to there. So that makes it a solid anchoring point for this thing. But if I take this off, you can see that I can still spin. Oh, let me weld this up so it doesn't fall over real quick. Yep, and then I can whack this shaft. You can see that both sides spin with each other. It's spinning very fast for my frame rate, so it looks a little strange. But you can see both sides are spinning at the same speed, and they will always spin at the same speed no matter which side you power it from, doing the exact same thing as the previous example. Sorry for the stutter there, that was really bad. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you found this useful. Please leave a like if you did find it useful, and consider subscribing if you want to. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.